Hello, my charmed ones, and welcome back to my channel for another video. This month, as a freebie on the Charmed Shop, I designed this handy little book tracker insert. So I thought today I would take a moment to show it off, fill it out with you, and give you a little behind the scenes of the books that are on my TBR or to be read list. So, of course, my OGs know that I do a vast majority of my reading via the app Audible. It's literally the reason why I'm able to devour as many books as I do. Now, I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I just like to talk about them honestly because it is an app that I use. And if I can find my sign up link, I will go ahead and leave it in the description in case you're curious about any of the titles I share with you today and you want to get a free audiobook out of it. That's definitely something I can help you with. So first, let's quickly talk about the insert itself, okay? So as always, my freebies are usually formatted for half letter, but you can also feel free to adjust the print scale to print this in any larger or smaller sizes as necessary. Now, the design itself is pretty simple. You have an area for title, author, start, and end, which would be referring to like either the dates you started or ended the book, or like you could check off that you started it and like when you ended it. And then you've got a little checkbox at the end to mark it off that you've maybe completed it. But you could also very likely use that space to give it like a rating or like maybe something like a check mark for recommended if you want to recommend it to people, or an X if you don't recommend it. Obviously, all that's up to you. As always in life, the headers that we get are just suggestions, so use your inserts the way that you like. So the first book that I'm going to go ahead and put on this list, it's a book that I'm already working on. It's called The Case Against Reality, and it's by Donald Hoffman. I have started it. I don't remember when I started it, but I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to read you a snippet of the summary of this audiobook because I've seriously been waiting for a book like this for a very long time, and I'm just like so excited about it. So, okay, here's the Audible page for it. Not really sure if you're going to be able to see that, but I will read you a little bit of the summary. It says, "Can we trust our senses to tell us the truth? Challenging leading scientific theories that claim our senses report back objective reality, cognitive scientist Donald Hoffman argues that while we should take our perceptions seriously, we should not take them literally. How can it be possible that the world we see is not objective reality? And how can our senses be useful if they're not communicating the truth?" Hoffman grapples with these questions and more over the course of this eye-opening work. So essentially, this book provides really interesting scientific and mathematical data to support the fact that our world, the reality that we live in, is not accurate. And I don't just mean that our interpretations of it from a psychological view. I know this concept is a very challenging one for many people to face, but it's very possible that although we interact with the world in a reliable way, right? I'm touching things. I know they're there. It's very possible that what we're seeing and touching and doing is just a facade for something else. So for those of you who are into this sort of science, I'm someone who prescribes to the holographic universe theory. Now, I don't think the theory is perfect. I don't think any theory on reality has figured everything out yet. But I have long believed intuitively and from my own experience in life that our world, sorry to say it, is very much an allegory for something else. And that's why someone like me, that you might say is very intelligent and highly educated, etc., believes in things like astrology. Do I really believe that rocks floating in space are causing our phones to break or giving us a good or bad day? No, of course not. That's silly. But I do believe those rocks floating in space aren't actually rocks, and whatever mechanism that they are a facade for may very well be causing those types of reactions. So yeah, fascinating book. I can't wait to get through it. Donald Hoffman is really doing some cutting edge work that really supports a lot of theories posed by quantum physicists. So it's really great to see more information supporting a more accurate version of reality and life on planet Earth. Now, the next book on the list, one that I'm actually very nearly finished, is It Didn't Start With You by Mark Holan. Again, I have started that one, so I check it off. And the subtitle of that book is How Inherited Family Trauma Shapes Who We Are and How to End the Cycle. Again, I'm going to go ahead and read the excerpt from Audible for this. Here's the Audible page for it. So the summary says, a groundbreaking approach to transforming traumatic legacies passed down in families over generations by an acclaimed expert in the field. Depression, anxiety, chronic pain, phobias, obsessive thoughts. The evidence is compelling. The roots of these difficulties may not reside in our immediate life experiences or in chemical imbalances in our brains, but in the lives of our parents, grandparents, and even great-grandparents. The latest scientific research now making a headline supports what many have long intuited, that traumatic experience can be passed down through generations. So essentially, if you or a loved one is suffering from some sort of chronic illness or struggles, especially ones that were like suddenly triggered with no explanation, this book is really interesting. It suggests that certain traumas in our family line are passed down, likely through cellular memory in our DNA, and it can be healed if we work through the trauma that our family member internalized and passed on. Again, metaphysical in nature, backed by science, as so much metaphysical philosophy is nowadays. I'm not saying that all illnesses and disease is something that you inherited and easily cured, but I do think there is a case made in this book for why it wouldn't be a bad idea to look into it for health reasons. So, as we kind of touched on with the last book, our bodies that we're here having experiences with, they're reliable, but they aren't exactly what we think they are. So take that as you will. Now, the last book I want to share on my reading list is called Talking to Strangers. And this is by Malcolm Gladwell. And I have not yet started this book. The subtitle of this book is What We Should Know About the People We Don't Know. Now, I loved Malcolm Gladwell's book Outliers. He is a phenomenal writer and researcher, and this book is about a topic that, again, I talk about and dwell on a lot, which is that communication is really hard. And I'm not talking about learning language is hard, but really using language to convey meaning in our society has become such an overrated and complicated task. As someone who communicates through language with people across the globe every day in the form of my content and videos, I'm obsessed with the delicacy of the process and how easily meaning can be misinterpreted, especially in the social climate that we've got going on now with so many people voicing their support for different causes and it leading to violence and unrest. There are fundamental things I think we as reasonable humans need to understand about the nature of communication if we want to have a more peaceful world. So yeah, I love the concept of this book and I cannot wait to get to it. Okay, so those are 3 books on my reading list right now and a little demo of my book tracker. I would love to hear what books are on your reading list, so leave me a comment and let me know. Of course, I'll leave the links to the books mentioned and to the tracker in the description. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. And for more of the behind the scenes of my productivity life and business, make sure you're following me on Instagram at MissTrenchcoat. And if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button for more awesome videos by me. And until next time, bye-bye.